Session to order. Board members Megan Casper-Selena and Joy Naylor are unable to attend tonight's meeting. We have a quorum. Meeting announcements. This meeting is being webcast live and recorded. The recording or webcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. I will now identify the closed session topics: public employee assignment, reassignment, appointment, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, complaints, conference with labor negotiator, conference with legal counsel, existing lit, conference with real property negotiators. Public comment on closed session items. General public comment and any closed session item will be heard at this time. Pursuant to board policy, the board may limit individual comments to no more than 3 minutes and individual topics to 20 minutes. It is recommended you begin your comment by stating your name. I don't believe we have any public comment, so now we will adjourn to closed session. Welcome to our regular session. 3.2, introduce interpreter. Gus Morio will serve as a Spanish interpreter for this meeting. Meeting attendees who would like to listen in Spanish, listen to the Spanish interpretation of this meeting, please pick up the headphones from the table located in the back of this meeting room. The announcement will now be shared in Spanish.
Gus Mora servirá como intérprete en español para esta reunión. Invitamos a los asistentes de la reunión que deseen escuchar la interpretación en español de ir por audífonos a la mesa ubicada al fondo de esta sala de reuniones.
Thank you, Mr. Mora. 3.3, meeting announcement. This meeting is being webcast live and recorded. The recording or webcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Members of the public wanting to provide public comment on items listed on tonight's agenda, we recommend you fill out a public comment form, the green form located on the table in the back of the room. Please hand your completed form to Delia Smart, board manager, before the item comes up on the agenda. We recommend you complete a separate form for each agenda item you'd like to comment on. Ms. Smart is sitting in the table in the back of the room. Members of the public providing public comment, please use the microphone on the stand located in front of the room. Board member Oda will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation under indivisible.
3.5, there was no action taken in closed session. 3.6, revision to the item enclosures and adopt board agenda. There are revised item enclosed for agenda items 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.6, and 9.3. May I have a motion to adopt the board meeting agenda?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
On a motion by board member Villegas and a second by board member Belt, all in favor? Did I vote? No. There we go.
Motion passes unanimously with 2 absent.
.1, Visalia Unified School District Q4 report, Superintendent Schrum.
All right, well, good evening, President Gamoyan, board members, and our public. We're pleased to share our Q4 report tonight to the board and our community. And just as a reminder, our report tonight will cover a little bit about different divisions and some of our data that we've been collecting throughout the year on key items that are important to keep our community aware of. And of course, as we always share, the role of our district is to create the conditions for our schools and our school sites to be successful. And so we take that job very seriously. Our core beliefs and commitments, you'll see here, are numbered because many of our metrics that we're creating data around align to the beliefs and commitments. So you'll see that there, and you'll see that reflected in the report as well for those that connect back to different beliefs and commitments. And as we get into this, just the purpose of kind of where this came about, one of the things that we know is important, and we heard this in our feedback last summer from community, is that how do we be more transparent about how we're doing on different things? How do we talk a little bit more about return on investment of items and those sorts of things, just as a way to start to track where we are and where we need to go. And so this was a new report that was developed at the beginning of this year that will be continuing as we move forward. And again, every quarter, we come to the board with an update from each division on some of the key metrics and items that they are working on. And so pleased to call up first, I believe, is Business Services and our Chief Financial Officer, Nathan Hernandez.
Thank you, Superintendent Shrum, and good evening, board. So I'm going to talk a little bit about business services, the business services items. And, we're focused on ensuring that our students and staff have the resources that they need to be successful in supporting our sites and staff. And one of the ways that we did that was providing training to our staff throughout the year. We didn't do that so much in Q4. We did a lot of internal kind of trainings, getting ready for budget development in our year-end closing and getting ready for the next year. All totaled for the year, we trained about 250 staff though throughout the year on our budget and finance processes. Attendance is something that we're also tracking. As we know, coming out of the pandemic, we had some reductions in student attendance, and our overall district attendance in Q4 was 93.17%. And that was a little lower than Q1. That's typically how we go about throughout the year, is it dips a little. Overall 2.9% above where we were in the prior year. So an increase in overall attendance and an increase in our average daily attendance throughout the year, which was 2.9%, also higher than where we finished the year last year. Not quite where we were pre-pandemic, but still higher. Purchasing and print shop, you see over 16,000 print and apparel jobs this year, over 60,000 for the full year, 16,000 in the quarter, 60,000 for the year. And again, a little bit reduction in what happens with POs at the end of the year as things start to tail off. In our tech services team, over 3,700 tickets processed, over 17,000 tickets processed in the year. And again, inventory maintenance is one of those items that was kind of high in the Q4. For next year, our continuous improvement, we're looking at improving our timing for when we provide staffing and enrollment allocations to human resources and to our school sites to make sure that they have those timely. Continue to improve the functionality of our employee self-service and things that we can offer to employees to do online to take care of some of their payroll and finance. Reviewing our network security practices, as well as continuing to provide guidance for student body, our boosters and foundations through a manual that we're updating. And I will turn it over to Mr. DeMayo.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's just jump right in here and talk about this just a bit. So in educational services, whoops, overzealous there. Let's talk a little bit about where we were versus where we are now. So the numbers you're looking at for our expanded learning opportunity program is going to show you the amount of students who participated in each of the quarters. And I think what you'll see is just the gradual increase in the numbers throughout the year, which we're super excited about. And most especially is the amount of students that took part in summer school. In a presentation you're going to hear about later, we'll talk a little bit more in detail about what that's going to look like. For our family and community resources, another really exciting piece of information. Remember, the year before last, we struggled with chronic absenteeism across our district. Now remember, that is students that miss more than 10% of the school year. We were at 36.8%, huge number. We brought that number down dramatically. Now only, that's still a large number, but much better than where we were. We're definitely trending in the right direction. We also have listed for you, and again, this is a cumulative total. So for the year, we transported 45 students, and those are students that struggle with having a stable home to stay at. So we want to make sure that they have no barriers to get to school. And that number at the bottom you're going to see is our TK enrollment. Now you're going to hear another number about TK a little bit later that's going to look a little bit different, but these are numbers of students that have everything in, their registration's clear. And again, we're about 70 students higher than we were this time last year. So again, great information to know. TK numbers are always a tricky one for us. We plan for those, but until they kind of show us that they're coming, it's hard to really know for sure what that's going to look like. So we're excited to see those high numbers. When we're talking about equity in student services, this is when we're talking about suspensions and expulsions. And while we don't like to see these numbers going up, again, they suggest that sometimes this is something that our students need a little bit extra as far as our support. So it lets us know the types of work we need to do. Again, these numbers are cumulative. So this shows you where we are for the year. But what I want to draw your attention most especially is that counseling connection number. Right now, we're sitting at almost 150,000 connections, and that's everything from group sessions, individual sessions, small group sessions, those type of things. As you know, we've invested quite a lot, and board, thank you very much for your commitment to making sure that we had a robust counseling staff with some additional trainings to really revise the way we make connections with our kids. So we're going to be excited to see that number to continue to go up this coming year. And for special education, as you know, another area we've really focused on this year. This shows you end result numbers by the end of the year. You'll see that we added almost 1,000 students, just shy of 900 new students benefiting from special ed supports this year. And the next two numbers indicate that of those students tested, the majority of them are qualifying. But a positive note to talk about, look at that number at the bottom. Recall at the beginning of the year, the 9% of our overall population were students in preschool. We're seeing that number going down just a bit, and that doesn't mean we're not supporting those kiddos. It just means we're finding ways that we can meet their needs without having to tie them up on an IEP unnecessarily. And the campaigns we're working on next year, again, for ELOP, super excited about the things that are going on in this area. We're going to continue to build out those course offerings and also streamlining those community partnerships we're working with. You'll hear a little bit more in a little bit about the ones we did this summer, but again, always looking for great opportunities in our community. Family and community resources have a new model of social worker support, again, designed to really meet the needs of our students on a broader scale. Equity in student services, we're going to be focusing on ALICE training. This year, our big campaign is to make sure our students are trained. We're also focusing on those connection opportunities for all students and making sure that we have clarity in the systems that we do have. We know that that's something that our teachers told us loud and clear, that they wanted to make sure that there was better consistency and clarity on the systems we have in our schools. So we're going to be working on that. And finally, in special education, again, we're always looking to revise our supports, but most specifically, our middle school service model this year is going to look a lot different. So how our students in middle school receive their special ed supports is going to look real different. So I'm excited to be sharing that with you in future meetings. With that, I would like to invite up my colleague from Human Resources, Dr. Judy Burgess.
Thank you, Mr. DeMeo, and good evening, board. Our key metrics in human resources development. So this is for Q4, which is at the end of last school year. And I'm pointing that out because, as you know, classified employees are hired throughout the school year. And so for this quarter, Q4, we had 62 new classified employees and 6 new certificated employees. Again, just for that quarter period and not for the new school year. It was for the end of last school year. For vacancies, those are reported similarly. So we had 131 classified vacancies and 90 of which are paraprofessional SPED. This is a remarkable number. If you look at Q1, those 221, there's an asterisk there. That doesn't include the 98 vacancies we had for paraprofessionals. So it would have been a lot higher number, around 315. So we had 17 certificated vacancies again for last school year. And then if you look at our sub-fill rates in classified, we've made an increased and substantial gain in that area. We've increased or expanded our classified substitute pool, which has really made a difference. And then for our certificated sub-fill rate, it's been really maintaining at that high 90% or more fill rate. So that's really great. If you look at our vacancies, always really 100% filled or really close to it at 99%. And then again, for our absence fill rate, we're at about 97%. The other thing we're really proud about in educator support, the numbers are still the same of the teachers and administrators that were involved in the program. But what we really like to highlight is those that have been recommended for 80 teacher induction candidates and 10 administrative services induction candidates that were recommended for their clear credential. So it's a great achievement. And we know that as our program has gone through the accreditation process with high marks, we're doing some great things with our administrators and our teachers. And then lastly are in our benefits and risk management data, we have 193 total injuries and 2,265 total days lost from work. Those are cumulative numbers. So that's for the whole year. And although sometimes you might look at numbers like that and say, those are a little bit high for an organization our size, they're actually not very high. We do a lot to accommodate with employees and bringing them back to work as soon as possible in a safe manner. So for next year, for 2023 and continuous improvement steps, we're going to continue with our recruitment fairs. We're trying to do that pretty regularly with our classified recruitment. We found that we're really getting some positive outcomes and experiencing some really great candidates. And we're actually doing more with pre-qualifying candidates and having them be a part of EdJoin, offering EdJoin support, either here at different school sites and just different avenues, even at the actual fairs. With certificated new hire orientations, we've done 2 so far, pretty large ones. And then we've got 1 more planned before the beginning of the school year. And then collaboration within the district, we're working with our divisions and departments to just make sure that we're providing informational meetings and ways that we can recruit people in positions that they're not very familiar with. And so Equity and Student Services and Special Ed have really led this in providing those informational meetings and telling more about like those positions and really promoting our recruitment. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Thompson.
Good evening, board president, superintendent. Learning and leadership, we'll just jump right into our numbers here tonight. So in our department, the first one to share is just our GPAs, as we've shown throughout the year. They actually have stayed pretty status quo in the sense of percentages of how many students are at 3.5 or 2.0, consistent with Q1, so you can see those above. The next ones that you look at are iReady diagnostic. You got Q1, which we looked at about 20% of our students that were at or above. We concluded Q4 in iReady for ELA at 41%. And then in math, we saw a nice jump there from 9% to 34%. This is still an area of work. This was really our fidelity to this program for our first year. But teachers are really utilizing it, students are utilizing it, and we'll continue to optimize how we use it moving forward, as it's a great predictor for our students' success in the future assessments. Then below that, you'll see in our school leadership team, Q1 status, we had about 106. These are coaching opportunities at school sites. We actually doubled that in the Q4 to 228. And that's just our commitment of freeing up our areas to be out at sites and coaching our leaders and walking campuses with them. As we know, strong leaders will produce great outcomes for our students. Our second piece is, and these are early learning, which is our TK and preschool numbers. You can see from Q1 to Q4, we have increased in our numbers there as we have capacity. We always have families that are, would love to have their students in our preschool program. So as we have capacity, we continue to bring them into our program. Instructional technology, paper as a product that we've used, the online tutoring is 24/7. We are seeing students actively utilize the essay portion quite a bit. We still have some work to continue to get engagements involved, but we've actually are working with them over this summer. Mr. Hamilton is working with the company itself to do a nice launch this year, which he had not done that in the past year, working there. And then the last one, athletics. This is seasonal, so it from Q1 to Q4, but we're seeing there's a large number of students that are actively involved in athletics. In the past, we had VAPA, which is visual and performing arts as well up there. The only reason why we don't have it is it stays static due to those are actually classes. And so we actually have more students involved in our visual and performing arts programs than we do in sports. So our key continuous improvement steps for 23-24, site leadership framework. We will be presenting that to you here in about a month or two, and we'll be sharing that with you on that work. But this is really creating a frame for our principals and site leaders on what an ideal principal does to produce great student learning for our students and quality instruction with our teachers. So we'll be bringing that back to you, but that is some work that we're doing. Balanced instructional models that we have shared with you guys in the past in ELA and math. With that, They do not stand alone. The purpose of them is to align our pacing guides and assessments, and we're there and we'll be working through that work this year. K2 literacy has been a focus of ours and will continue to be a main focus this year. As you are aware, we have adopted a phonics program that's going to target in on phonics K2, which we're very excited about to just balance out our instructional model for our students. Math 1, which will be a target for 8th and 9th graders, also some 10th graders there. This will be a targeted program that we're working with our teachers, all Math 1 teachers, to provide targeted essential standards, 6-week units with assessment, monitoring, and they coming together to look at the data and to reteach as a whole group. This is something new, but potentially something that we might utilize in the future with our teams in other subjects. Last but not least, we do have our professional learning communities training, site administration and teachers. Over this summer, we will be training roughly about 650 staff members, school site-based teachers, leaders that we'll be working on so that we can provide quality PLC training, practice, planning, so that way it affects quality first instruction in our campuses each and every day. Now I'll hand it over to Eric Carrier, our COO.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Good evening, board. So a couple updates for the fourth quarter for operations and facilities. We didn't really complete any projects in the fourth quarter. However, we've got lots of projects still underway. The science modernizations are underway. Green Acres is complete. Valley Oak is nearing completion. La Jolla and Visalia will be completed next year. We're also very proud of the completion of the Redwood Gym, about a $10 million project there. The second phase of the Mount Whitney Gym modernization is underway right now and will be complete by the middle of August. We'll be turning that back over to the site. So in that gym, for example, you will see, in addition to the new floor that we put in last year, there'll be new bleachers, there's all new paint, there's a new roof. So the gym will not just the floor will look brand new, the whole gym will look new when we go back in August. So we're really proud of that. In NSD, interestingly enough, we provide no cost breakfast and lunch for all of our students all the time, the state of California. But we've noticed good utilization at both breakfast and lunch, and Andy will present for the summer school. We've got some numbers for summer school that we're really proud of as well. We did notice that the biggest drop off, whenever we have a drop off in meal utilization, it's usually at the high school. So it's what to be expected, but we're happy to see that the numbers at middle school and elementary school are maintaining high, and we're feeding in the 90 percentile of those kids every day. So we're really proud of that. A couple of interesting numbers for nutritional services for last school year. This district served 1,066,366 breakfasts and 3,014,230 lunches for the 22-23 school year. So we're very proud of that. Regina's team has done a great job. Couple more here, transportation. The biggest news in transportation is we've got a little bit of improvement in on time. However, we know that there's going to be a big change in that with the TransFinder rollout. We're ready, that's ready to go. We've got just a couple of weeks to finish up some last minute things, lots of communication coming. So we expect to see a big change in that. Work orders, we notice a big decrease in the number of open work orders, which means maintenance is catching up. So we're happy to see that. The electricians have caught up finally. They were the one with the most open work orders. We've got some roofers that are busy, which isn't surprising after the winter that we had. So they've got lots of work to do. And they completed almost 3,000 work orders just in the last quarter. So nice work there. We did add custodial and grounds to this. 280 work orders for their number of open work orders, and they've completed 543. And that is also very seasonal as we get into the season where we're restoring fields. So those work orders usually increase, kind of slows down in the wintertime. And then, Chuck, did I do something wrong? There it goes. Oh, back, can we go back? Oh, sorry. Fighting buttons there. Okay, so some of our continuous improvement steps, again, as I mentioned, our almost singular focus for transportation is this TransFinder rollout. Contact information, the routes are completed, the routes have been tested, the technology has been tested. We've got training planned for the drivers, we've got training planned for principals this week. We'll have training, additional training ongoing. Also, a Stop Finder app for parents. We are sending out multiple communications to parent families to update their email addresses so that they can download the app. So think about Amazon, your package is 5 stops away. Parents will have that app for their kids. They'll know where their kids' bus route is. And if we've got delays, we can push communications out to parents. So we're really excited about that. And another really cool thing for transportation, thank you to our CSEA labor partners. We have a new utility/bus driver position that is flying. This is a position that is an 8-hour position. And so we're hoping to help to retain and recruit more bus drivers. When they're not driving a bus, they'll be able to do other things like what the utility team does. And so we're excited about that. We'll be starting interviews for that position this week. Couple other things in there, work orders. We're making some changes to our work order system, just how we route them. It's not going to impact school sites. Everyone will still be able to put in work orders, but we're going to kind of funnel and filter them a little better. So we route them a little more accurately. Long range facility master plan work is continuing. In September, we'll start to Andy and I will bring you a couple of things in terms of potential where we are with enrollment, where we are with boundaries, where we are with site capacity, and that will start to blend in with the long range facility master plan data that we will start to get in October. And so that work will really start up once we get everybody settled back in school. And then finally, next year, we will be doing a lot of work. We have so many portables throughout the district, as those of you who have visited school sites see them. So we are going to, in earnest, start to work on what is a more permanent solution for that. We know we've got TK increasing, we've got new VAPA programs, and we need a more permanent solution. So we will be working on that. It's probably going to be a multi-year process, but we will start to build out those processes as well. So with that, I think, Mr. Pacina, you're next.
Good evening, board. And so this is the metrics for the superintendent's office. And so in the first one, the row you see is the site visit. So those 31 schools our superintendent attended and did site visits to. That does not include everything like evening items, graduations, promotions, all those other pieces, right? They're in addition to that. So that number's a lot more. And our superintendent's out there quite a bit. And so making sure just getting connections. And this also does not include the visits to, for example, the custodial staff and to transportation and all those other places, all of our other teams that we have here in the district. Communications, you see that we continue to increase our posts and our followers. And so overall our social media presence is pretty healthy, right? So just a big shout out to all of our VOSD community that continues to share our story. And so I just want to thank all of them, everybody from parents to teachers, students, et cetera. And so we have Blackboard that we have about 80% of the families. So we're still about 20% that aren't receiving, but we are looking at ways to increase that. And so how that can be the case. And where you see alerts, that's just schools engaging with the communications department and saying, hey, we have stories here. And so it's great that we're starting to see them even be more proactive and kind of sharing what they're doing. The next one is the outreach for One Visalia Connected. So we had one engagement and that we had with that group. And so we're continuing to work on that. And so it took a little pause in June and July because our focus was strategic plan. And I'll explain that in the next piece, but it hasn't fallen off. We continue to work not only internally, but also externally with our partners and connect them with resources and people here in the district. And then we had our 5 advisors that we had through One Visalia Connected. And then strategic plan's a new one that's there. We didn't have any metrics back in Q1 because we didn't have a strategic plan working in Q1. So just everybody that's in this room and principals, teachers are classified who have participated in listening sessions. We covered all the sites as well as our itinerant teachers to make sure no one was left out. We went to 9 sessions that were student focused. So we met with students at 9 different sessions in person to ask them same questions around the strategic plan. And then we had 11 community listening sessions. I know some of you guys participated in those. And so through all of that, we've been able to engage in almost 13,000 folks, unique individuals, to get feedback for our strategic plan. So we definitely can say that it's a community-driven blueprint for the future, right? And so we're very proud of that. And so some of the things for this coming year, launching one more round of community listening sessions at 4 middle schools. And so why 4 is we're going to concentrate on areas, not so much the schools, but we're going to go ahead and do 4 when school starts. So we kind of get families as they're coming back into it. We're also going to have one at Goshen and one at Ivanhoe as well. And so that'll give us one more round of listening sessions just to capture anybody else, right, that couldn't make June and July. And so we want to make sure that we give them that opportunity. And then we will also leverage back to school events to be able to post the survey. So then, parents, I know like when I go to back to school, the first thing is have like a little meeting with the principal. And that's a perfect opportunity for us to say like, hey, your voice matters. We want to be able to get your feedback. And so that's, we're going to do that as well. And then of course, the superintendent student advisories, one of the things we heard loud and clear from our students, and we love meeting with them because that's why we're here. We're here for our students, right? And they said, hey, we love meeting with you, but we want to meet in person. And so in order to do that, we really thought through what's the best way to do that. So we're actually gonna do half-day sessions with them on non-instructional days. Those are like the PL days that we have. We have a couple of those, and days where they're not going to be in school. We're going to invite them, and we're actually going to do like design thinking. So we're going to look at problems of practice and then have them be solution oriented and be able to think through data and also provide us solutions through a student lens. And so that's something that we're going to be doing in addition to Mr. Shrum, Superintendent Shrum, meeting with them to do the advisory that we have. And then last but not least, we're going to continue to work with the quarterly needs of the site visits and also with all of our staff. And so that's it. And that concludes the quarterly. If there's any questions.
Thank you. Any board questions or comments? I do have a question, Dr. Burgess. I have a HRD question, if you wouldn't mind stepping forward. I always wonder about teacher retention. And so I was wondering, what is our teacher retention this year?
So if you're looking at our Q1 to
Mhm.
Q4 numbers, if you're looking at that kind of thing, we definitely are keeping our teachers. And I'd say a lot of times when we look at our vacancies, we have new positions that are actually added. So it's not necessarily they're leaving, right? But that we were adding those positions. We also have those, and sometimes more so in classified, but even in certificated, where we've got folks that are promoting or moving to transitioning to different positions. So that's happening as well. So there's some great things that are happening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the board? All righty. Let's go to 4.2. Summer School Program 2023 report. Assistant Superintendent Thompson and Assistant Superintendent DeMeo.
Well, good evening, board again, board president, superintendent. So we wanted to go over our summer school programming for 23. Our core beliefs and commitments, obviously, to provide a quality program for our students, even in the summertime when it's extended year. So I want to start off with our middle school program overview. This year we had that Green Acres Middle School. It does run 6 weeks for middle school, June 6th to July 13th. We had about 350 students, 6th through 8th grade, that attended summer school this year. 7th and 8th graders, students participated in both math and ELA instruction. This was for more to provide them additional support so that they would be prepared to start on day one as an 8th grader or as a freshman, depending on if they were a 7th or an 8th grader. This year we did pilot for Math 7, 8, a new math curriculum, an avid math curriculum that was a little bit more hands-on approach to math to give them a different opportunity and to a different look at how math can be done. And then secondly, our 8th graders who successfully completed Math 8 were enrolled into integrated Math 1, which is what we want to start them in, is in Math 1. As you guys are fully aware that Math 1 is our focus. We want to make sure students are passing that, as that is a gateway class to all of our math programs that we have in high school. Sixth graders used the Paxton Patterson. This was similar to last year. It's a very hands-on CTE oriented program that students are engaged. And the other piece with sixth grade is we want to integrate them into the middle school as they will be heading into seventh grade. So preparing them for that and getting them organized and ready to be able to start day one in middle school off on the right foot. Here's just the pictures. Obviously in middle school, a lot of times we end up having smaller class sizes in those, so it really helps to engage students. And you can see them interacting with each other there. Next, I wanted to share with you our high school program overview. Our high school summer program was again 6 weeks as well. It was at Redwood and Golden West high schools. We do have 2 semesters during the summer. Each of them are 12 days long. And that's for semester 1 and for semester 2. So for semester 1, we had a little over 3,000 students that participated. In semester 2, we had 2,600, a little more than 2,600 students that also attended. Students come for various reasons. The 2 main reasons that they come is either for credit recovery, meaning that maybe they didn't do so well in a class during their school year, and they need to retake that to earn those credits, so that way they can move on and continue to march towards graduation and be ready for college and career. And then others that are accelerating, meaning that they're taking a class. These are typically history classes that they are taking to accelerate, so they get that class out of the way, so then they can get another elective, they can get another academic class, many times AP classes or dual enrollment classes as well to support. You see across the board in both our recovery classes, which were done in person, and our acceleration classes have well over a 90% pass rate. One thing with acceleration, we did use the Edgenuity program. This year we did have students come in and take the test in person while the work was done virtually. We have found that that Edgenuity is a great program to get students credits, but we need to really look at it to make it rigorous and make sure our students are getting the learning that we desire so that they're going to be successful in the future. So we will be looking at Edgenuity next year on, as that's going to be the platform that we utilize for acceleration in our history classes there. And just at the bottom, you can see there's 90 certificated staff that were employed during this time, 12 classified for the high school program. Now I'm going to hand over to Assistant Superintendent Andy DeMayo, who's going to share about our elementary program and other offerings we had through our extended learning program.
Thank you, sir. We had some pictures to highlight that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the elementary program. So as you're aware, since the pandemic, we really recognize that our students are struggling. And over the past few years, the state has invested, and the board certainly has allowed us to do these things, additional opportunities for students to either regain, relearn, or hold on to the learning that's taken place. So the spirit of this has been, how can we create something that perhaps could look a little bit different? So our expanded learning opportunity program under Mrs. Reed's direction put something together for us, and we're super excited about the results. So just some data for you here. We surveyed our families to try to determine what is it that they really feel they need as a family and also to support their kiddos. And we came up with a couple different options. It could have been a half-day option if they only wanted to do a few hours a day, or perhaps a full-day option. And those two looked a little bit differently. We also made sure we focused on, obviously, reading and math, but we also incorporated some very unique STEM activities and also some unique physical activities, again, to make sure that our students, once they came, were really excited about the day that was in front of them. Eric mentioned a little bit earlier, all students were provided breakfast and lunch for the day, and we served over 45,000 lunches just for that 3-week period. And our wonderful partners with Pro Youth, not only did they take care of our students during that 3-week session, but they continue to support our students throughout the summer months. And our transportation department made sure that a lack of transportation to school was not a reason to stay away. So we had transportation arranged for the students through summer school as well. And as a result, over 2,000 students participated in the summer piece for our elementary students. So what that looked like, and I wanted to show you this because, again, this is, we did a lot of new things. So we wanted to make sure that we were working with data to tell us, are things working well? Do we need to course correct? What are some things we need to do differently? So we asked our families some questions, just things like, how was this working for you? Overall, how did you feel about the program? And you can see the vast majority of our families felt very good about the offerings. and our staff as well. We wanted to check with our staff because again, this was a different thing. How can we make sure that the work we're doing is really in keeping with how they want to do it? Because again, our teachers and our classified staff are the ones that are closest to the action. We want to make sure that we're doing things that really make sense. So we're really pleased with the results. This gives us the information we need to know. What do we want to continue? What do we want to revise for the coming year? Let's talk a little bit about the summer program in general. So we talked earlier about that partnership. And the partnership was a big piece of what took place this year. You know, again, of course, we wanted to create an academic rich environment, but we wanted to make sure that it was fun and engaging. So we partnered with Fresno Pacific University. You recall that we have an agreement with them to help our high school students. But in order to make sure high school students are ready, we've got to make sure that they get a rich elementary program. So we partnered with them. We also partnered with some local entities for our activities outside. And since much of that took place in the morning, we avoided some of the heat that was taking place as well. Not only that, but again, our pro youth partners helped us through this process, and also a program called Quest, which really supported kids working together collaboratively, coming together with a program, and again, doing it in a fun and engaging way. It was a great opportunity for us to really foster Mr. Shrum's campaign that he started with us, that One Visalia Connected, and really reach out to the community to find out what are those opportunities that you have as a community organization that would benefit our students. And again, super excited about what we were able to see and how we're going to grow that in the future. Another opportunity that took place after summer school was summer programming. So in the month of July, I know you guys have heard about this, our expanded learning opportunity program took over, if you will, the aquatics program in the city of Visalia. So any students who wanted to do swim team, anything in the pool, so to speak, we took care of that because again, we didn't want a lack of funds, a lack of that opportunity to hold students back who wanted to take advantage of that. So we made sure that any student who wanted to do that had the opportunity to do that. And in addition, we set up a really cool opportunity with JJ Aqua Farms, where several of our schools were able to go up on a day camp opportunity, if you will, to learn how fishing works, how the environment is impacted, those type of things. And again, just an example of different opportunities that we're doing in the community that we hope to expand in the future. And I also wanted to highlight special education programming. Now, we all know that of those 2,000 students, many of those students involved in that were students who were on IEPs who need additional support to be successful. But this particular program is one that our special ed department puts on. Now, these are for those students who have needs that are significant and such that they need more than what is happening in a general education setting. These are the type of students that if we don't provide them something, they could regress and learn some of the information that we shared with them. So we wanted to make sure that that didn't take place. So we supported many, many students this year in a variety of different ways. Again, just like all students, our special education students deserve an opportunity to go to a place where they're going to have a great time, do wonderful things, and learn at the same time. And that's definitely what took place. Another thing that I wanted to point out is our adult program. So our adult program, as you know, are for our high school graduates 18 to 22 who are in the workforce. So over the summer, we had a group of those students who we supported through their opportunities to gain that community activity, gain some of those new social skills. Again, another wonderful opportunity for them. And with that, I will entertain any questions you might have about summer programming.
Board have any questions or comments? Board Member Belt.
Thank you, President Gamoyan. I have one question, Mr. DeMayo, that you might be able to answer. Were we able to accommodate all the students that wanted to be into either the summer program, elementary and high school, or were there some on a waiting list that we weren't able to?
So I can talk to the elementary one for sure. As you know, we had 13 different sites. We did have 1 or 2 sites that were getting a bit close to being filled, but any family who wanted to take part in it, even if their particular grade level was filled at perhaps the school they were going to, they were absolutely offered another spot at one of our other sessions. So anybody who wanted to come could attend. Now, middle school and high school, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah. So middle school, everyone is accommodated there. High school, for any course credit, ones, we provide space. We always do that. Acceleration, we usually have an overabundance of students wanting to accelerate. So that is a process of students getting into it. That's been a process that we've had for years in our district. We're not able to accelerate all of our students during that time. So they do go through a lottery and work through there.
Excellent. Thank you.
I had a question on slide 8, the staff survey. I know it was kind of grade K2 through 5. Did we also do a survey of our middle school and high school teachers? And do we have that data?
We did not put that. We did do some surveying. We did not put that. So middle school and high school is a fairly consistent program we've had for the last several years. So that's why I didn't put there per se. It is a credit recovery focus, acceleration focus. It's pretty consistent over the years on that. So that's the reason why I did not, but I can get that information for you.
Yeah, and the reason I raise that is because as we look at whether or not Edgenuity is an appropriate platform to continue with moving forward, I think ideally we would want to have our students in person, or at least that's where I personally feel they would learn the most, right, in research, et cetera. But if we don't have the teachers who are willing to teach in the summer, what else can we do to incentivize teachers to want to teach in the summer? Or if we go with a different platform, that's just kind of where my head was at. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I would just comment, I mean, for the K-5, I mean, I think the best promotion is our kids saying that they enjoyed coming. That's how our numbers will grow when they tell their friends it was fun.
Yep.
So, you know, that's amazing that 86% of children were looking forward to coming in the summer when they still had to get up early and get there. So that's awesome.
Agreed.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
4.3, 2023-24 back to school report, Superintendent Schrum.
All right, well, good afternoon, Board President Gamoyan and board members and families and community. As I was thinking about this report, you know, that I think it's Staples commercial where the parents are going through the aisles with this, the most wonderful time of the year and, you know, getting all the school supplies somehow and the kids looking very depressed. But not our kids, right? Because of ELOP and all the other programs, like we're exciting year round. But it's hard to believe, like it seems like just yesterday we were closing out, and now it's, you know, 4 or 5 weeks later, and here we are rapidly getting ready for a new school year for kids that will begin August 10th, and for our staff convocation day on August 7th. So you know, it is here, at least from planning and preparation purposes. And so over the next few weeks, we will be starting to send families communications around all the things that they need to do to get ready for a successful best first day ever. And so the purpose of this report is just to kind of start to give a high level overview of some of the preparations that are underway for us to have that best first day ever. So each department or division is going to come up and pretty much talk about what they're doing, what the priorities are for 23-24, if we have any questions. And then again, but our families, you know, as early as next week are going to start to see communications, not only through our social media, but through Blackboard, which is why, again, it's so important that families keep their information up to date with the school, because that's how we send information out. And so we're going to continue to work hard on our efforts to make sure people are receiving the information we're sending, so that everyone can be prepared. And just a general, and we'll certainly communicate this information out as well. But, and, you know, as we think about this time of year, there should be no family, student, parent in Visalia that struggles to get what they need or have what they need to be ready for day one. And so I just want to take this opportunity to remind our community about our Family and Community Resource Center. We'll certainly be communicating that information out as well. And so we have support, we have resources available. So any student family that needs something for their student to be successful supply wise, or even clothing or other items, we have a resource center to help families. So we want everyone to be ready to start August 10th to have, again, their best first day ever. So looking forward to highlighting some of our priorities for this year and exciting new things that we have underway. And so I believe we're going to start first with our Human Resources Division. And so Dr. Burgess.
Well, we are excited to highlight a few things for you all for this next school year. Daily screening and interviews continue. We're ensuring that all school sites are going to be fully staffed. And I just want to give you kind of some updates in our numbers. For certificated, we've hired 201 new certificated staff. This is for this school year. And we currently have 31 certificated vacancies, 10 of which are new positions. And mostly, I think, as I shared with you, due to grant funding, those are those new positions that have been coming about. For classified, we've hired 51 classified staff, recruiting for 217 classified positions and 36, which are new positions. The other thing for onboarding, having new hire orientations, both certificated and classified. And then we have what's called our new certificated staff week that starts on July 31st. That's a full week of professional development for our new certificated staff. And also we invite all certificated staff that started after the beginning of the school year from last school year. So we make sure that they're invited as well. And we have our labor partners, and we know that we've had some successful negotiations that have completed with the UTA and CSEA for the school year. And then we're really excited about implementing our new volunteer management system. This is through Raptor. It's a streamlined process. We're super excited about launching on our new website, the information, the links, the videos. So we've created some videos, and we're just really excited about highlighting it in our Power School registration for those that are new parents and parents and guardians that are enrolling their students. There's a section that says, are you interested in volunteering? So we have a way to also bring them in and reach out to them even before they've started school. So we've been outreaching to our parents already saying, welcome to Visalia Unified. We're happy to have you. We know you're interested in volunteering. Here's all the information. We already have all of our active volunteers in the system already, so they're good to go. So if they've done their fingerprint clearance, background clearance, if they've applied in the past, in this past school year, they're already in our system. So a lot of parents have already reached out and said, I'm so excited, I'm already in, I'm already cleared. And we know that some things happen before school starts. So that's been really exciting to have. I think I'm going to turn it over here to Mr. Thompson. All right.
All right, good evening in the learning and leadership area. Again, I briefly talked about this earlier, but we're going to be looking into our professional learning communities, doing training, over 650 staff members that are being trained. If you're not familiar with professional learning communities, it's really a way for teachers to collaborate, really look at data, student data, so that they can make informed instruction and readjust their teaching so that it improves student outcomes. We have ramp up days for administrators and staff, preparing them beforehand so they know what the information they need beforehand, not after the school year starts. So they'll be ready on the first day. Also excited to announce that we have instructional coaches at every school site this upcoming year that are getting training themselves. They're getting very targeted through Learning Forward and is being led by our administrator, Brianne Phillips. And that, so very excited about that work, that we're going to have a set coaching model that we have, that we're following consistent throughout our district, which I think is something we need in our district so that we have consistency across the board. Convocation change this year. So in the past, we've heard from our teachers and our staff loud and clear, we need time. We need time to prepare for that first day, and we want the best first day ever. We need time together. So what we'll have on convocation day is we'll actually have a very abbreviated speech in the morning. Mr. Shrum's going to give them the excitement and get them there and get them going. 30 minutes is what he got though. Then after that, we're targeting our time on so I'll give you one example. High school teachers, all the biology teachers will be in one room. All the chemistry teachers will be in one room. All the physics teachers will be in one room. Across the board throughout our entire district, first grade for 4 or 5 school sites will be in one room. Going across the board. They will be working through a process to talk about the routines and procedures. So when students walk through their door on day 1, they are ready to go. They have systems in place and are ready to go. So that way they can be focused on the students during that time. The afternoon is going to be on their Unit 1 academics, focusing on their beginning lessons and collaborating and talking. We're always better when we're working with each other and collaborating and getting good ideas from one another. This is going to be that time so that way they can launch well with their curriculum to start off the school year. TK3 students, these are just some opportunities I wanted to share out that just really excited about. We have the opportunity through Prop 28 that we Our TK through third students are going to get 2 times every week. They'll get 1 art class and 1 music class. I just want to stop for a moment. Just think about that for a moment. We have not had a targeted VAPA program in TK third. Because of COVID, we saw a little bit of a drop in our VAPA programs. And so we targeted high school has been important to add numbers, but how you do that long-term and bring that richness of the arts to our community and continue to grow it and maintain it is you start with the younger students. And so we're very excited to have that. There's also a ton of data out there that will show that when students are engaged in the arts, their academics improve, their thinking improves, and their ability to engage others improves. So just so excited about that work there. Also, we will be providing designated targeted PE education 2 times a week with a designated specialist PE teacher that will be there working with our students. With that, it changes our bell schedules for K-6 and also K-8 schools. We have a couple K-8 schools here, so it does affect them as well. In the history of our district, I'm not aware of us having a consistent bell schedule, so parents could be very clear on when students get out, when they don't, and when they come to school across our district. And for K-6, we have accomplished that. Students will be coming to school. Start time is at 8:10. They got to come before that because that's when the bell rings. We need to be in a class and we're going to get going, get working. Drop-offs will start at 7:30 in the morning. So parents that have to get to work and those things, we will have coverage there at 7:30. So that way you have that opportunity to make it on time yourself. In time is 2:55 on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. Wednesday, we do have an earlier release day, which is at 1:30 p.m. With that, it's a touch earlier than we've had in the past, but we have some great opportunities with this as well. So first thing is, because we have a consistent time of exiting, our K-6 students will be getting out at the same time. In the past, our K-2 students were getting out. And for parents, sometimes that was a real challenge because your 2nd grade student, I'm not comfortable with them walking anywhere. But now their 6th grader is also potentially there, their 5th grade sibling, where they are able to then work together, work as a team and get to home or get to where they need to go. But if you're like, hey, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that, we also have amazing, as Mr. DeMayo had shared about summer school, but it's ongoing every day in our schools. We have expanded learning opportunities programs that are enriching programs that happen every day after school that will be there till I believe 6 p.m. every night that you can enroll your student and they have engaging activities and also learning opportunities during that time. So you can definitely take advantage of that if that time is challenging for you. So just really excited for the new opportunities our students have this year. We have a little bit longer school day for our TK third students, integrating arts and art, music, and PE in there, and also some consistency for our families. So that way they have very predictable start in times and that their students are coming out at the same time so they can come up with a great plan for them. I think that's it. I'm going to hand over to Mr. DeMayo.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, thank you once again for having me up here this evening. So we've talked before in educational services, it's our job to make sure our students receive what they need to be successful. Well, in order to do that, we have to make sure that everybody understands what options they have available for us in our system. So the theme you're going to be seeing is just that clarity and consistency that we hope to provide all of our staff members so that they're very clear as to what is available for their students. Let's first start talking about our Equity and Student Services Department. So recall last year I came to you and asked for your support for active shooter training. Again, as much as we don't like to think about something like that happening, we want to make sure that we're prepared just in case. We spent last year making sure all of our staff are trained. Going into this year, we are doing our refreshers and making sure every new staff member is provided that same opportunity. This year, we're going to make sure all of our students know exactly what to do. Now, again, that's going to look different depending on the age of the child, of course. So we're excited about that as an opportunity for us. And also making sure everybody has that same chance to do so. Another thing that we're going to be working on that we started this summer is really focusing on the connection opportunities with our students. We know, I shared some data with you last year, that students who are not connected have a much greater chance in the future of having challenges in their life. So we want to make sure that we give every child an opportunity to get connected to school so that we know that their future trajectory is more successful. So one of the things we did this summer is we identified those those students who, in between those transitional times, 6th to 7th grade, 8th to 9th grade, the ones that we already knew were having some struggles at connecting to something on a school campus, we got those students together with both their sending school and their receiving school to make those initial contacts so that when the school year begins, they have those familiar faces around. So we're really excited about that. It was a huge success. And we have another meeting set up before the new year starts, and then of course into the year. We're also going to make sure that all of our staff have refreshers and trainings on proactive discipline, mental health, and then those counseling connections. So before the first day of school, our staff members are going to be prepared to know what those first day moments need to look like and what to do should their students need those additional supports. When we're talking about our Family Community Resource Center, again, like Mr. Shrum suggested, we want to make sure that our community is very aware of the amazing opportunities and resources we have available to all of our families. So as such, we spent a lot of time this summer doing lots of different outreaches. We've partnered with different agencies in the community, doing resource fairs and taking advantage when they're doing open houses, just to have a presence so that our community is aware of what we are and what we offer. We've also spent a lot of time this summer connecting with our students who are struggling with consistent housing, because we know that that's one of the predictors of future success is positive attendance. And we know that our students who struggle with homelessness have the greatest incidences of absences. So we've worked very hard with those students that we know struggle with homelessness and also the ones that have had attendance struggles in the past. We focused a lot on those groups. And our expanded learning opportunities program, again, lots happening in this area. One of the most exciting things is we have a whole new course offerings. We've developed a new catalog so that any family is able to go online and see what those opportunities are for their students to take advantage of. But again, it's going to be up to us to make sure that our families are aware of it and our staff know how to direct their families in the right way. And then, of course, we're going to continue working on those community partnerships that we spoke about earlier. And then in special education, I spoke a little bit already about that middle school service model. Again, it's just an opportunity for us to make sure that during those middle school years, which we know for some students is a challenge, we want to make sure that those students have every opportunity to be successful and not limited by the extra supports we need to give them. And then, of course, at any grade level, whether it's pre-K all the way through adults, we want to make sure that whenever we're delivering our lessons, every child is thought of in a universal way so that their needs are taken care of. And with that, I'm going to invite up Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So in operations, we align with our belief that learning environments should be safe and supportive and innovative. And so some of the things that the departments are doing in transportation, if you haven't heard me say it before, the singular focus for transportation is the TransFinder rollout. And so part of that is all of our drivers being trained and fluent on the new system bus and the bus routes being optimized. I think I may have shared before the tablets that they have that they've been using in the bus that they've previously used just for their pre-trip check will now have turn-by-turn guidance, just like our cars do. It will also have a live student roster of every student that should be on that bus. And it will verify when they come and when they scan on the bus. So we're very, very excited about that. That is their singular focus over there. I mean, they're doing other things, but that is the main priority for transportation. Custodial and grounds, they are very, very busy in the summer, making sure we restore the fields at the stadiums, all of the practice fields. Last year, we spent a lot of money replacing equipment that hadn't really been taken care of. And so this year we're starting to really see, if you drive around the district, you probably have noticed that the curb appeal and the fields, considering it's been very hot, the fields are in really good shape and they're continuing to work to make sure that we're ready to go for the fall sports and beyond. Nutritional services, again, it's about staffing, making sure they've got accurate counts at each school so that we know what we need to prepare. You know, we don't prepare food at every one of our schools, so we do prepare food in the central production kitchen as well as our satellite kitchens throughout the district at the high schools and at Ridgeview. And so really making sure that that is all a well-orchestrated routine. And so they'll be ready to go there. And then just in operations in general, We're continuing to staff departments. We still are in the process of hiring bus drivers. We've got a couple other open positions, but overall, we're pretty well staffed except for some bus drivers, and we're confident we'll be there. And the first day plans completed by each department. So knowing what we need to do, maintenance, making sure the rooms are cool, making sure all the supplies are in there, custodians, making sure. So all of that what seems very routine is a huge list of tasks that have to be accomplished. And then the first day deployment plan for management. And so no more will we be focusing only on our individual departments. My directors and myself will all be deployed out to school sites, making sure that things are going like they should be. And then just our policies and procedures, we're really excited. The new website has been launched and it is being built out right now. So we're really excited. Some of my peers have mentioned catalogs and different things that we will have on the website. Operations will have that. We'll have that for school, things like school sites if they need tables and chairs, how they get those. Just a number of different things, supplies that they need. So all of that will move online away from paper pages that we've used in the past. So pretty excited, lots of work to do. We are very, very busy. Everybody's back at work, so nobody gets to take vacation anymore. So we're done with that. Mr. Hernandez, I think you're next. It's not changing. There we go.
Thank you, sir. So in business services, as I've shared, our focus is on providing resources. And so one of the most exciting things that we do is launch those July 1 budgets and make sure that they're posted and available for sites and departments so they can go do their online shopping on their catalogs, and those are all up to date. But of course, we can't do all of that without providing them with the guidance and that they need. And so making sure that our financial policies and procedures are online and available, as well as providing trainings, staff trainings that we'll do throughout the year, as well as at the convocation on how to use our systems and how to do the attendance and enrollment accounting. Our Chromebook refresh is on target. Many sites have already had their deliveries, and so that will be done, replacing Chromebooks in both the 4th and 9th grades as we did last year, and sending out that communication that to families and to students to make sure they turn on their Chromebooks, get them charged up, make sure they're in working order, and a process for them to be replaced if there's any issues. So classroom and student technology is in working order on day 1, and then ensuring that all of our data systems, PowerSchool, student information systems are up to date and rolled over for first day of school. And I will turn it over to Mr. Pacina.
So good evening, board, again. So to begin the first day ever campaign to inform the community, we have a campaign that we're going to be launching. And so you'll see that shortly. But just like all of my colleagues have said here, really the focus is on getting that everybody ready for that first day, just like we did last year. So we'll be pushing a lot of information out to staff and families, but in small chunks, right? So they're able to kind of see, like today, all we're going to talk about is transportation. And the next day, we're going to talk about nutrition, but they'll also be pointed to an area where they can get all of that information and then really be ready, right, for day 1. So I want to go ahead and just just show you a draft of what that campaign looks like. Okay, so this is kind of the big reveal here. So it is USD. Okay, so really the focus for this year is going to be I am prepared, I am connected, I am kind, I will achieve. And so you're really going to see this go throughout the district. On the left, you have posters that you're going to see throughout the district, but on the right, you have posters that are going to be in classrooms. And down at the bottom, you see that blank spot. That's for students, adults to sign, to really say like, hey, we want to be on board with being prepared to learn, being prepared to be present, to be safe, to be connected, and to be kind. Okay, and with the whole focus of achieving. So throughout the next 4 quarters, that's really what you're going to see. And so just, continue to look for that in social media and in everything that we do, and so that we can have our best first day ever. And so with that, if there's any questions.
Any board questions or comments? Mr. Villegas.
I have a question for Mr. Kerr regarding the TransFinder rollout and software. Are those going to work with just the students' regular ID cards that they have to scan when they get on the bus? And then two, in the event that a student, forgets their wallet or their ID, I assume there's some sort of manual check-in, or how would that work?
Is it working? Okay. So yes, well, we will have cards. Every student will get new cards. They will get them the first day of school. Mr. Hamilton has been working on that. We have a company that has printed, I think, around 30,000. They are embedded with an RFID chip that is coded to their PowerSchool ID. They'll also have their Clever login, everything that we have in our current ID cards. So that will be their new card. And it will follow them because their route will follow them in TransFinder when they change schools. It will move when we change PowerSchool. When we change their school in PowerSchool, it will process overnight and TransFinder will get the new thing. If they change address and they update it in PowerSchool, it will process overnight and it will reroute them. So every student will get those middle of the day, the first day. So when we pick up kids on that Thursday morning, they will not have cards. The drivers will have all their technology. They'll have the student list. The kids won't have the cards until they get them middle of the day. The cards are being shipped to the school sites by teacher by room, correct, Rick? By teacher by room? Yep, the cards will be pre-sorted. Teachers will receive, principals will get a preview of it on Thursday, and then teachers will receive, they'll receive an infographic on just handed out. The TK through 3 will get a backpack tag, a bag holder for their backpacks. The other kids will just be issued the cards and how to do it. We know that there will be probably a period of time where kids will have to get used to using it. So yes, the bus drivers can also manually pull up the roster and tap the kids, say, yeah, you're on the bus, tap them when they get off. We will never leave a kid behind. We will get them on a bus and we'll sort it out if we have to when we get to school. So, but we will eventually get there. My thought is, especially for the TK through 3 kids, they are going to be excited about scanning their card once they get in the routine of doing it. They're going to love doing it when they get on the bus. So did I answer all? Okay.
Yes,
good.
thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much. Item 5, general public comment. General public comment in any school-related topic may be heard at this time. The board asks that any public comment on an item listed on tonight's agenda be addressed at this time, at the time the item comes up for discussion by the board. To comply with the Brown Act, California's open public meeting law, board discussion is limited to items on the agenda. Therefore, when receiving public comment for items not on the agenda, the board's role is limited to receiving such comment, and the board may not engage in dialogue with the public. The board thanks the public for its participation in public comment and understanding of the board's responsibility. Pursuant to board policy, the board may limit individual comments to no more than 3 minutes and individual topics to 20 minutes. It is recommended you begin your comment by stating your name. Okay, so our first public comment is Benjamin Stedman. Right.
Good evening. Are we having fun tonight? I am. I'm Benjamin Stidman. I'm a parent of 2 children at Visalia Unified School District. I'm a graduate of Visalia Unified School District myself. And I feel that I've partnered well and been supportive of Visalia Unified through fundraisers, back to school nights, school site council, just whenever the need's been. Even in the past, letting admin or board know if they have a teacher that's been doing a good job. Because often we know that good news travels fast, but bad news travels even faster. So when I see good stuff, I do appreciate to share that out to you guys. I have run across this situation this year concerning my son that is a little bit troublesome to me. He's attended a elementary school since, well, it was Pinkham from 1st grade through 6th grade. And we went through the process of registering for Valley Oak because that's where that school naturally feeds to. Given circumstances, not that we moved, but just going to another school, we were informed pretty recently that he will not be attending there, that he'll be attending Visalia. My concern is that as people involved in education, you know that middle school is a pretty pivotal point in any person's educational career. And I'm concerned that he will move to a school where he knows no one and has no friends. I've called and talked to some of your staff about it who have been very nice and helpful and informing me of that the school has been closed, but I am here tonight to ask that maybe after this, someone would contact me in the next couple of days to maybe have further discussion about this. I appreciate the time coming up here. And as much as I've tried to be supportive of Visalia Unified, I would appreciate some support from you guys in this matter for my son. So with that, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next, we have James Brownyard. Is that right? Brownyard?
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, members of the board. My name is James Brownyard, just like it's spelled. I am here on behalf of BIA of Tulare and Kings County regarding last week's vote on adoption for the school facilities needs analysis and a level 2 and 3 fee. My job for the last 18 years has been a specialist in Mitigation Fee Act fees. That includes the Leroy F. Green Act and others. What we've reviewed this, and I've commented on it before in writing. There's an interpretation by the consultant that basically adds up all the available class empty seats with those seats that are occupied or over capacity. Well, we can't really do that in this case because each one of these categories by grade, now grades TK 6 has 918 available seats, and it goes less and less until you get to high school. At no point in time can you actually consider that all these seats are equal. The school sizes are different. The management of the classrooms are different. The expectations are different as they get older. But you can't really look at this and say, okay, we're going to count these 2,000 high school kids and we're going to put them in an elementary school. That's not going to happen. That can't happen. With regards to the legislation, there was a comment by the consultant saying that certain schools are severely impacted. I can understand that. I've seen dozens of school districts review their fee studies. But the problem with this, with the legislation itself, is that it goes by district. If you have availabilities, those count it as in one fashion or another. Now, the way that they were calculated by the consultant said that you guys are qualified for a level 2 fee of $550. Frankly, going through the numbers, doing it the correct way, and I've actually been on the other side, actually making these fee studies, the justification studies, as well as SFNAs. They didn't do it the proper way. And doing it the proper way, you should just be happy with the $479 of the level 1 fees that this state allocation board has suggested, and we've supported. If you have any questions of me, I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. I think Mrs. Reynolds, are you here today? Oh, there you are.
Good evening, Superintendent Shrum, President Gamoyen, and board. So last week, I presented a public record request for 19 books in our libraries that are primarily at our high school and junior high level libraries. I had some concerns on these books. A lot of them are very sexually explicit in content and in commentary. And so I did say I was planning to make copies for all the board, but after talking with Mr. Thompson and kind of learning the procedures on how I go about reporting my concerns, I don't think that'll be very feasible to do that at this time. So what I have is tonight is 19 copies for Mr. Thompson. I'll get those to him. That way, hopefully we can get the ball rolling and maybe get somebody to review these. I don't want to put any halts on there at all. I think it's pretty urgent and important that we look at these. What I can do though for the board is I can email you the website that has the exact excerpts that I printed out. So that way you can take a look at them for yourself. I know I gave you guys a listing of the books, but just something so that if you want to do your own research, I can email that to you. I'd prefer not to state it publicly, but I can email those out to you. So I'll leave this here tonight. And if you have any other questions, you can get a hold of me. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, consent agenda. Would any board member like to pull an item from consent agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
All motion.
I'll second.
On a motion by Board Clerk Gaby and a second by Board Member Villegas, all in favor?
Motion passes unanimously with 2 absent.
Item 7, board member reports. Mr. Belt.
Thank you, President Gamoyan. I just wanted to one more time echo a thanks to Mr. Shrum, Mr. Thompson, Mr. DeMayo, Mr. Dillon, Mr. Kerr for the preparation that you guys have put into place to make sure that we do have, and I want to say this right, the best first day ever. I know that you have been working tirelessly in and out of your vacation times to try to get this up and running. As of today, you actually had a tremendous, what do you want to call that? I like to call it pre-planning with a lot of our staff to bring this all up to speed. But I also wanted to mention that I was in my optometrist's office this week, and the receptionist, when she found out that I was on the school board, seized the moment. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not as comfortable as it was today. She overwhelmingly wanted to thank me for what Visalia Unified has done for her special needs student. That she was concerned, she was apprehensive, she wasn't sure what would happen in the last 2 years of moving from one school to another to accommodate that. But she was ecstatic that her student not only has done well, but he is actually improving regularly. And as we were talking, I realized that that's something that can happen because we have a district large enough to bring those kind of resources to bear. And so again, thank you for all the prep, all the excitement. Even my teacher wife is excited about her new assignment in the pre-K 3 music. I even bought her a new guitar today. So we are getting ready for the first best day ever.
Thank you. Board Clerk Gaby.
Really no report except thank you to the staff that's still working. We think of this as summer vacation, but they're definitely our facilities and our district admin. They are getting ready for the best day ever. And I'm ready for that best day ever because I think I've been housing some of our students in my own little ELOP program at home. And so I'm ready for school to open.
Board Member Odo.
No report.
Board Member Villegas.
No report.
I also have no report except thank you. And I'm excited for the first day ever, best first day ever. Superintendent Shrum.
All right, thank you, board. Also echo thank you to our team that have continued to work throughout the summer. Again, especially facilities operations kicking into high gear. Our summer school teachers, just, again, we heard some of the great things that occurred this summer. We have more opportunity for our students throughout the year than we ever have had before. And we look forward to continuing and extending that as we go into this next school year. And so again, reminder to parents, get ready. Information, as Mr. Pacina mentioned, is getting ready to start rolling out. And we're excited. I think Target already has back to school. Actually, I think they had their supplies out before school even ended, but it gets sooner every year. But we are excited, proud of the work, proud of the new things that we have coming to support our students this year, and are looking forward to just an exceptional 23-24.
Thank you. It truly is the best time of the year, next to Christmas. And general agenda 9.1, notice of intent to employ certificated personnel and approval of variable term waiver requests for speech language pathologist, Dr. Burgess.
Good evening. I have a few of these, so I'll start with the first one. This waiver request is to allow more time for our speech language pathologists to complete their credential program.
May I have a motion to approve the variable term waiver request for speech language pathologist?
Move to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Dr. Odo, second by Board Member Bell, all in favor?
Motion passes unanimously with 2 absent.
9.2, notice of intent to employ certificated personnel and approval of variable term waiver requests for CCSD certification, Dr. Burgess.
Yes, and this waiver request is to allow time to complete a specific designation within their clear designated credential.
May I have a motion to approve the variable term waiver request for CCSD certification?
All motion.
I'll second.
On a motion by Board Clerk Gaby, on a second by Board Member Villegas, all in favor?
Motion passes unanimously with 2 absent.
9.3, notice of intent to employ certificated personnel and approval of provisional internship permit request, Dr. Burgess.
Yes, this is a request for a provisional internship permit to allow our teachers to complete the requirements to demonstrate subject matter competency.
May I have a motion to approve the provisional internship permit request?
I'll move there. We accept the professional internship permit.
Second.
On a motion by Board Member Belt, second by Dr. Odo, all in favor?
Motion passes unanimously with 2 absent.
9.4, notice of intent to employ certificated management personnel and approval of administrative service credential waiver request, Dr. Burgess.
Our last request for the best first day ever. This waiver request is to allow more time for administrators to complete their credential program.
May I have a motion to approve the administrative service credential waiver request?
All motion.
I'll second.
On a motion by Board Clerk Gaby, second by Board Member Belt, all in favor? Come on, baby, let's go.
Not cooperating. Motion passes unanimously with 2 absent.
Thank you very much, Board.
Thank you. 9.5 warrant list, May 27th, 2023 through June 29th, 2023. Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Hernandez.
Good evening. This is our routine request to approve the warrants between May 27th and June 5th, whatever you said.
May I have a motion to approve the warrant list?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
On a motion by Dr. Odo, second by Board Member Belt, all in favor?
We have enough money, right?
Motion passes with 1 abstention and 2 absent.
I will now adjourn this meeting.